But it was Mary who had anointed his head, so whoever wrote this book was referring to something that he's about to write in the next page. And this is such a significant event that Mary would do what she did, that people knew about it, the readers, before John had written about it. So he's referring to something that they would already be familiar with, and yet he's not written this in his book yet. It's kind of interesting. So I just thought I'd help you see what's going on. It says, Lord, would you please come? My brother's sick. And he says, you know, this sickness isn't into death. Let's take our time. And because Jesus took his time, Lazarus died. And Jesus said, oh, he's asleep. Let's go to him. Well, Lord, if he's asleep, he'll wake up. No, he's really dead. It's interesting that Jesus refers to the person who believes in him. Lazarus would be one of those who believed, trusted in him. That for death, it's not the final answer. It is the metaphor for death, for the Christian, is what? We've fallen asleep. It's a temporary state. But there's going to be an awakening sometime for us. There's going to be a stirring for us. We're going to be raised from the dead at one point or another. So when Jesus comes again, then that's when everything. You know, this isn't the first time Jesus raised somebody from the dead, but it is the most magnificent time. Think about this for a moment. What happens shortly after somebody dies? What happens to the brain? What happens to the body shortly after somebody dies? I mean, we had a neighbor who lived next to us, and they had left their kids with grandma. The kids came over, they were 8 and 4 or 5. The girl was knocked on our door. Can you come help us wake grandma up? She can't get away. She was changing her shirt and died immediately of a heart attack. And when they had, where's grandma? So they had no telling how long she had laid in the bed until it shook her, and she wasn't responding. So they came to get us next door to come over. And by the time we got there, her body had stiffened. It's one of the effects of death. In the circulation, touched the skin. I had tried resuscitation. I felt kind of hopeless and helpless. Find a better solution, let me know. He's the one who conquered death. We're going to see that in a moment with Lazarus, but I want you to think, not only has this man been dead for a while, by the time Jesus shows, he's been dead how long? That's longer than Jesus had been dead and was raised from the dead by God. 4 days. In fact, the comment was, I don't think I need to read this, is going to tell you. The comment, when Martha came out, she said, Lord, if you'd only shown up, he wouldn't have died. But I still believe in you. But this hasn't shaken my trust in you, but I sure wish you'd shown up earlier, because I hated that Lazarus is gone. And she's weeping. This is her brother. And Jesus says, the person who believes in me, I want him to really trust me. Even though he dies, will what? Sure, Lord, I believe in the resurrection. I believe in you're going to raise the dead. You've said it. By the way, he said that in John chapter 5. When the Son of Man speaks out the word, the dead will raise. They'll hear my voice and they will come back to life again. John chapter 6, he says, eat my flesh, drink my blood. You'll never die. You'll have life in you. John chapter 3, verse 16, God so loved the world that gave his only begotten Son, that whoever keeps trusting in him, keeps on believing in him, should not perish, but everlasting life. He talked about eternal life, eternal life, eternal life, life that never ends, quality of life. He said, I came to lay down my life so that you can have life. I came so you can have life and have it abundantly. I'm the good shepherd, he said. In John chapter 8, he says, I'm the light of the world. If you follow my teachings, keep my word, you're going to be set free. You'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. We've never been slaves. So there's a dialogue that begins about whose kids are you anyway. And Jesus ends up saying, you're the children of Satan. If you were the children of God, you'd believe in me and you'd love me. You'd follow my teaching. But you're obviously not the children of God because you're not listening, you're not following, you're not trusting. And they said, Abraham is our dad. God is our father. God is your father. See, the one who hears my words and keeps them, this is so outlandish for anyone to say. I want you to feel the gravity of these words. If anyone hears what I teach and keeps them, he'll never die. Now we know you're at it. Are you greater than Abraham or the prophets? They kept the word of God, and they all died. To which Jesus responded, well, Abraham saw my day, and he rejoiced. Now you're out of your mind. We know that. I mean, you're not even 50 years old. How did Abraham see your day? And the word there, see, is not blepo with your eyes, but see, perceive with your heart. It's wow. See it, perceive it with your heart. He says, Abraham perceived my day, and he rejoiced. Translated today, Abraham saw me coming, and he threw a party. When did he ever see you coming? Before Abraham ever existed? Remember the two words? That was ego and me. I remembered that in Greek because it's like ego means I myself, and me is am. And it's the Greek translation of the Hebrew passage, Exodus chapter 3, verse 15, that says, you tell them, I am sent you. That's the Septuagint translation of Greek. Ego and me. And Jesus said, before Abraham ever existed, ego and me. I am. And they understood fully what he meant. They picked up rocks to kill him. And then the light of the world stepped into a blind man's life, and he now has light to see. Born blind, in darkness, always in darkness, and now Jesus enters into another realm of darkness. I want you to see the double darkness here. The satanic forces have had their way for what is the ultimate goal of Satan in this world. The thief comes to, Jesus said, John chapter 10, just one page in front of this. The thief, referring to Satan, comes to steal, kill, and destroy. We have pain and sickness and death in this world because we have an enemy who is still alive. He is powerful, and you need to understand, Satan is real. Evil is real. And Jesus, in the darkness, you better rejoice while you've got the light. You'll get 12 hours of light, pretty soon it's gone. Referring to himself now, the light of the world. John chapter 1. Go to Judea. They're going up to Judea because geographically, as they travel, it's upward elevation. It's downward in direction. They're going from Galilee south, but they're rising in elevation. It's like I go south to New Mexico. Portales, New Mexico is as flat and brown as it can be, but it's 4,000 feet elevation. So I'm really going up to Portales, New Mexico from here. We're about 25 places, right? It's going up to Portales, but I'm going down geographically. That's what it was going to Galilee, going down, but they were really going up. Because they went up to Judea, and the apostles are flabbergasted. Lord, Rabbi, they were going to kill you last time we were there. He says, yeah, I'm going to go back. And Thomas says, let's all go with him so we can die too. Kind of exasperation. I can't get my handle around this guy. Who is he and how does he think? And what's he all about? And he's listening definitely to a different drummer here, right? He is marching to a different drummer. In fact, he's drumming his own drum. I like that in the Red show. March to the drum guy. So Jesus. Well, to make a long story just a little bit longer, when he arrived, Martha came out and they had their dialogue. She said, if you only get here, he said, I am the resurrection and life. Trust me, you'll never die. And if you do die, you will live again. Do you really believe me? Yes, Lord. Where's your sister? I will get her. She goes back into town. Jesus is waiting outside. She says, the Master's here. And so she goes out with Martha in a fast pace. And everyone says, she's going to the tomb. She's overwhelmed. So they're all going out to the tomb with her to continue to mourn. Because that's how Jewish community at that time functioned. They got together and they helped to cry things out. And so while she's crying, they're also going, ah! Ah! And they're going deep in sorrow. And it's a cultural thing. There's nothing pretend about it. But it's funny, when Jesus sees that happening at Jairus' and his wife's house, when their daughter had died, remember that? Lord, come, my little girl is sick. And on the way, he stops and he talks to a woman who touched the hem of his garment. And you can see Jairus going, would you hurry up? My daughter is sick. She's almost dead. And on the way there, the servant comes out and says, don't bother him anymore. The little girl is dead. And he says, don't worry about it. She's just sleeping. Let's go in. And so he says, believe, you're going to see some good things here. And they walk in, Peter, James, and John, mom and dad, and there's the baby girl, or the young girl, lying on the bed, dead. And Jesus takes her hand and calls her by name, and she comes forward. And then he says, don't tell anyone. Well, as they came to the house, the people were outside, mourning and screaming like I was showing. And he says, she's not dead, she's just asleep. And they immediately changed from that to laughter, because they knew she was dead. In this case, there's no question that Lazarus is dead, because they went through the burial rites. They wrapped up his body. It's sort of like a mummized. They're wrapping him up in linens, and they're covering him over with a sheet, and they've got his head covered up, and they've got him. The body is comfortably laid out on a stone slab that's as cold as the body is. And then they've got this huge stone that they roll in front of the hole in the cave. Because you see, Lazarus was the wealthy man. Lazarus and Mary and Martha had Jesus in their home often. Lazarus and Mary and Martha supported Jesus' ministry financially. And Lazarus was one of Jesus' best friends. Lord, the disciple you really love is sick. Please come. So this is tearing Jesus up. On the one hand, because look at the pain and the suffering and the anguish of the people who have no hope. Now here's living hope standing in their presence. In fact, the temple of God is standing in their... The light of the world is standing in their presence, and they're missing it. Because they're caught in the darkness of the moment. The desperation. There is no hope here. I was reading the book not very long ago. It's called The Heart of Change. In the first chapter, the heart of it's a counseling book. And it helps therapists and counselors learn how to provide. It's a 4-letter word, starts with a, and ends with a hope. And if you don't do that in the first few minutes, you don't have a client relationship anymore. You've got to very quickly establish in those first few moments, things can get better. It's going to change. And if you can provide the hope, they're going to come back. And if you can't help them feel hope, they're not coming back to you. And if you've got something to offer, you want them coming back. Not just for the money, right? The reason you're in the business is to help people. And so this book is helping people learn how to provide hope. Well, Jesus, the hope of the world, the foundation of our hope, upon whom we build our lives. We know that. We're looking back 2,000 years. They're standing there, and this guy belches and sweats and bleeds and his belly aches and sleeps in. In fact, he sleeps through a storm, and we've got to rattle him and wake him up to calm the storm, but we weren't expecting him to calm the storm. We were just waking him up so he could die with us. I had no clue he was going to say, peace, be still, and suddenly, or literally, put a muzzle on it. And suddenly the storm dies, stops. Okay. Then this Mary and Martha. Then Mary comes out with Martha, and there's Jesus under a tree. And Mary comes over to talk. And she says, where are you coming from? And she's not saying that like this. Lord, if you had a way to hear my brother would cry. She can't. This is deep. It's one of those times where no world is going flat. Fade to black. There is no hope. I don't want to eat. I haven't been able to sleep. We've been caring for him, hoping you would arrive. Because you would hope now he's dead. Jesus is the We're going to come and see him. So we arrive at the tomb. There's the hole, there's the stone. He sees all the crowd and their participation in this morning. He looks in the eyes of Mary and Martha and can barely see the eyeballs because of how bloodshot they are, because of the tears and the swollen nature. It's just, this is deep. And the two most important words maybe in all the Gospel of John, the ones that if you had to quote a verse around the supper table, this was it, right? Turn to the shortest verse in the Bible. These two. Jesus. And the lamp is not blessed. What? Isn't there any hope? What is going to do? Do pretty well most of the time unless I see someone who's crying. And I don't know what there is about this, but there's just something that if I see a girl crying, I immediately cry. It seems like I'm crying a lot more these days as I get older. I don't have a year hand on things. I maybe told you the first time I saw the radio show and I sat down all my nose was running. It was embarrassing. It's midnight. I don't know if everyone because I didn't know to see me cry. So I had to go back and see. I was so moved. And I think it touched, that movie at that point touched some of the very broken spots and insecure spots in my heart. It touched some deeply those. Jesus walks with us through life. And we're journeying. It's deeply moved because of our brokenness and our feeling of desperation and lack of hope. He wants us to see exactly what we should have seen in the Bible. I love this thing. Listen, there is nothing that you experience that he's not there by your side, and he has a copy of something very similar to himself. He knows what it's like to be rejected. He knows what it's like to be dead. He knows what it's like to be spit over. He knows what it's like to face the death. He knows what it's like to watch other people cry. He knows what it's like to be hurt. He knows what it's like to feel so angry and just spit. He knows those things. doesn't understand. Our Lord, there's nothing you've ever done. Nothing. You have in the very worst of moments, in the darkest moments, that He will die. So He said, okay, Father, this is my bad. I don't want to mess this up. Look at chapter 11 now. John chapter 11, this is words of later. The Jews saw him crying. They said, "We see how he loved him." Verse 36. But some said, "Couldn't he who have opened the eyes of the blind man, couldn't he have kept this man from dying?" Verse 38. Then Jesus, deeply moved again, came into the tomb. I wonder how far away he was. You come up just 2-3 feet from the rock, from the huge stone there. When he came up to the cave, there was a cave, and a stone lay in. So this is no tiny stone, this is huge. He said, "Take away the stone." And Martha is aghast. Don't hear her say, "Lord, behold, he's been dead 4 days." And this is not, Lord, he's been dead 4 days. His body's already stinking. What's the What's up with this? Are you standing with them wondering along with me? What are you about to do here? Why do you want to do this? They were telling people they would receive the glory of God. So they were stone away. Jesus lifted up his eyes. This is where I want to be. All of that's been introduction. I want you to get this prayer. I am so intrigued with what Jesus is doing here. And I hope you are too. It's just watch what he says. Listen carefully. Through the tears, through the heavy breathing, he says, "Father, I thank you. I knew you always were with me. I said this on account of people standing around so that they can keep believing that you sent me." All that he did up to this point was to help strengthen their faith. He let them go through the darkest, deepest despair of their lives so that they would learn to rely on him and not on themselves. They would trust him. They would learn his words are not just words. You believe in me, even if you die, you will live. Now let me show you. He let this happen deliberately so that God's glory would be seen by all around. And he said so that they can believe. When he said these things and he cried out with a loud voice, again, this is not a Lazarus. Right? Lazarus, come forth! Now, some have speculated that if he didn't call by name and all he said was come forth, all of the dead and all of Judea would have come out of their graves. I don't know, but he calls him by name. And there's a great song, I wish I'd thought ahead of time to get this, that Carmen sings about Lazarus come forth. But Lazarus is dead, he steps into a room, there's Abraham, there's Moses, there's Samson, and they're all talking their testimonies of the Lord, how they walked with God and believed in God, and then Lazarus is kind of excited, and he says, I saw somebody, and they turn to him and say, "Hey, who's the new kid?" And Lazarus is talking now among the dead saints, and he says, "But I saw him feed the 5,000, I saw him walk on the water, I saw him heal a man with leprosy, I saw him cast out demons. And in fact, I remember the sweet way he used to call my name, and up on the ground, Jesus began to say, Lazarus. In fact, it just seems like yesterday, Lazarus. And he says, and I think I can even hear him now, Lazarus, Jesus, Lazarus, Jesus, Lazarus, Jesus, come forth. And he does. What's that like? To be there. Come back here. To leave there. Come back here. What's that like? I'd like to be at the party. They threw a party. That night, we know they did a week later. This is 2 weeks before the crucifixion. And a week before the crucifixion, we have a Lazarus party going on. Can you imagine the conversation around the table? I just think this is so mind-blowingly unexpected and glory-filled. What did the tomb look like? I'm just speculating here, but suddenly the tomb full of light, as the spirit of the dead man had been gone for 4 days, re-entered his body, that the molecules of his brain came back, and suddenly, it's got to be how something. With the electricity going, the neurons firing, and his body going. And then, how do you walk, right? So it comes out of the tomb. Like I can think of the Mummy movie. And it comes out like this. And well, you're standing there, and you're not expecting much, but suddenly this happens, totally unexpected, and you hear the clinking inside, I don't even know how to describe the sounds that would come. I mean, you have to stretch after being gone for 4 days, and you're laid out. And he starts walking out, and as he comes out, he's walking kind of stiffly, and Jesus says something very practical. Unbind him. Unbind him. Can you imagine going to the dinner with Lazarus that night, and then after everything's over, they're blowing the lamps out, people are starting to go home, they can't believe it, they want to stay longer. And Lazarus turns to Mary and Martha and Jesus and the apostles and says, "Thank you very much. I'll see you in the morning." And he starts to leave. "Where are you going, Lazarus?" "I'm going out to the tombs." "Why?" "I'm going out there to sleep." Are you out of your mind? Why would you go back to the dead? You're alive now. Are you ahead of me? Here's where the points are made for us. Galatians chapter 2, verse 20. Read before our prayer. I thought, that's inspired. Can you say that with me? I am crucified with Christ. I have been crucified, literally. I am crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life that I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1. We were dead in our sins. That's verse 3. Dead in our sins and trespasses. Verse 1 says, you were dead in sins and trespasses. Now, I want you to see the difference in prepositions. You are dead. You were dead in your sins and trespasses. So if you don't have Jesus in your life, you're not in relationship with him. If you have not accepted his forgiveness and said, Jesus, I'm yours. I want you more than anything. I want you more than I want the next breath of air. If that's not describing you right now, then you are presently dead in your sins. You are the Lazarus inside the tomb who, behold, you stink. Now, and saying it the way it is, guys, all over the mirror, right? It is a trusting response to Jesus as Lord that's going to give you life, period. It is your faith in him and grace applied to your heart because of that trust. And so he said, we were dead in our sins and trespasses, but God, the biggest but in the Bible, but God, being rich in mercy, loving us like he was, made us alive together with Christ, raised us up and seated us with him in heaven. Where is he in heaven? Above all. Why are you there? Because that's what he considered about you. You are too. Above all. So centuries. Romans chapter 6, real fast. We're going to fly in this and we're done. Because this is where we come back to application time for our lives. And this part of this letter, page 6 of this letter to the Romans, and we read page 12 during communion. We're going to cut that in half and come back to page 6. And in page 6, Paul is reminding them what happened long ago, telling them this is significant because of these things. Here is new information. They didn't understand this. So you read this and say, well, I didn't know that when I was baptized. You don't need to be baptized again. Just add that to the collection of knowledge that now you have about what happened when this happened. But watch what happened. Chapter 6, verse 1, page 6, sentence 1. What shall we say then? Are we to continue in sin so that grace may abound? No, by no means. How can we who died to sin still live in it? Died. What's that preposition again? A preposition in this case is a two-letter word, and it sounds like the number I just said. Two. I'm so used to teaching college students that I have to teach them English too. All right, but by no means, how can we who have died to sin? See, you're already dead in sin. But God is calling you now to experience double death. I have a friend in Tulsa that will say this, friend, you need to make arrangements for your own funeral. You need to start life over again. Let me tell you how. And he starts there explaining you can visit Jesus. You need to make, I just said that to a friend of mine from China who's now staying in my house, but we were just talking about this very thing. I said, you need to make arrangements for your own funeral. He said, huh? And I started there and worked my way back into what Jesus did and who he is for us. And I watched what he did and who he is. How can we who have died to sin still live in it? If you're dead to sin, what do we do with dead people? Do you not know that all of us who have been baptized in Christ Jesus were baptized into his death? We were buried, therefore, there it is. We were buried, wherefore, with him by baptism into death, in order that just as Christ was raised from the dead, we too might walk in newness of life. Lazarus has got a second chance. He's come out of the tomb. And he's come out of the tomb to live a new life, a new opportunity. You've been given that same privilege. Spiritually, you were dead in sin. You've been called to die to sin. Double dead, you're buried with Christ, you're raised again. He gives you new life. Keep reading with me, and I think you'll see some stuff that's going to make you think, wow, this is too good news to be true. And I didn't realize I needed to live this way. Watch. For if we have been united with him in a death like his, we shall certainly be united with him in a resurrection like his. We know that our old self was crucified with him in order that the body of sin might be brought to nothing, so that we would no longer be enslaved to sin. For one who has died has been set free from sin. One who has died has been set free. Dead people can't sin. So he says to you and me, dead people can't do anything. Hire a dead guy to come mow your yard. It's not going to happen, right? Set bottles of beer on the coffin. Have him come up and drink. Not going to happen. Dead people can't say, can't be righteous either, but dead people can't sin. Keep going. Where was I? Body of sin. He who has died. Here we are. Verse 8. Now, if we have died with Christ, we believe we shall also live with him. We know that Christ, being raised from the dead, will no longer die again. Death no longer has dominion over him again. At one time, does not now. For the death he died to sin once for all. And repeat, once for all. But the life he lives, he keeps on living. So, you also must logically consider, the word there's what needs in mind, logically consider yourselves dead to sin and alive to God in Christ Jesus. Don't let sin reign in your life. This is the little Greek. Stop letting sin be the king in your life. Don't let sin reign in your body to make you obey his passions. Don't present your members to sins and righteousness. Your possessions of righteousness. Present yourselves to God as those who have been brought back from to God. Your members to God as right instruments of righteousness. He said, not anyone. He says, you're not under law, but under grace. What then? Are we going to sin because we're not under the law but under grace. No, by no means. Do you not know that if you keep presenting yourself to the Lord, to anyone who be being slaves, that's whose slave you are? You are the slave to the one whom you obey. Either sin, which leads to death, or obedience. He's telling us to Christians. Wake up, church. He's telling us to Christians. Whoever you keep on choosing to obey, that's whose slave you are. So keep choosing to obey the Lord. Why? Because does Satan love you? Does he want your best? Did he die for your sins? Is he going to give you eternal life? Why would you keep choosing to turn your body over to him and do what he says? Why would you want to do that? Go back and live according to it. And have been set free from sin, verse 18, become slaves of righteousness. Since you have died, you were buried, you raised again, you're walking with him. Consider yourselves always dead to sin, alive to Christ. Whatever the decision. That's our goal. Here's the tool. It's a mindset. It's based in reality. I am looking at people who are just as dead as Lazarus was. People form a miracle as great to bring up. But he gave you life through Jesus' Son and set you free. Don't go back to